Why we fear the truth that could set us free. Have you ever felt it? That quiet voice inside you that whispers late at night when the noise of the world finally dies down? That something about the way you live your life is profoundly wrong. You scroll, you consume, you distract yourself with little pleasures. And yet, when the lights are off and your eyes stare at the ceiling, there is this hollow space, this gnawing sense that you're running away from something you cannot name. This is where I want to meet you, not in the noise, not in the chaos of the day, but in that silent place you're so afraid of. Because it's there that the truth waits for you, like a shadow you cannot shake. And the question is, how long will you keep running? The silent prison. We like to believe we're free. We choose what to eat, what to wear, what to post, where to spend our time. But freedom is a strange illusion. Erich Fromm once wrote that modern people don't fear freedom because they don't have it. They fear freedom because they do. True freedom demands responsibility. It forces you to face yourself without excuses, without lies. And that is terrifying. So instead, we build prisons disguised as comfort. We fill our cages with endless entertainment, trivial goals, and shallow victories. We decorate the walls with achievements society tells us are meaningful. Grades, promotions, likes, followers, possessions. But late at night, when the mask falls off, you feel it, don't you? The emptiness behind it all. Nietzsche saw this coming. He said that when God is dead, when our collective myths collapse, we must create new values or drown in nihilism. And most of us, we drown. Quietly, politely, with a smile on our faces and a phone in our hands. The herd and the hollow Plato gave us the allegory of the cave. Prisoners chained to shadows, mistaking them for reality. But the modern cave is different. We're not chained by force, we're chained by choice. We choose the shadows because reality is too painful to confront. Think of how often you silence yourself to fit in. How often you nod along, not because you agree, but because you fear standing out. The herd is comforting, warm, safe. And yet, as Bonhoeffer warned, it is precisely in times of moral crisis that blind conformity becomes evil. Ordinary people, terrified of standing alone, enable horrors. Not because they are monsters, but because they are cowards. And what about you? How many times have you betrayed yourself for acceptance? How many times have you swallowed your voice, your truth, just to belong? Each time a small part of you withers, and the hollow inside grows deeper. The seduction of nothingness, nihilism, the belief in nothing, the silent plague of our time. It doesn't come with dramatic declarations or black-cloaked philosophers. It comes in the form of quiet apathy. What's the point? You felt it. The sense that no matter what you do, it won't matter. That your life is just another speck on an indifferent planet spinning through an indifferent cosmos. And you're right in one sense. From the cosmic perspective, you are nothing. But here's the twist. This is also your greatest freedom. Because if the universe doesn't care, then you get to decide what matters. This is where nihilism transforms from poison into liberation. To stare into the void and declare, I will create meaning anyway. That is power. That is the rebirth Nietzsche spoke of. The will to power, not over others, but over yourself. The enemy within. But there's a darker truth. The greatest enemy you face isn't society, or your parents, or even the herd. It's you. You are your own saboteur. You crave comfort more than growth. You prefer distraction over discipline. You run from silence because silence forces you to listen. Every time you choose the easy path, you strengthen the chains you pretend to hate. Machiavelli once said that it is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both. And here's the uncomfortable twist. You should fear yourself. Fear the part of you that wastes years on meaningless distractions. Fear the version of you that could have been had you faced the truth sooner. That fear is the fire that can burn away your excuses. Stories of awakening history is filled with examples of people who broke free. Think of Socrates choosing death over silence. Think of Bonhoeffer standing against tyranny at the cost of his life. Think of Nietzsche, who descended into madness in pursuit of truth. But it doesn't always take grand gestures. Sometimes it's as simple as the story of a man who, after years of working a job he despised, finally admitted the truth. He was living someone else's life. He quit with no plan, no safety net, only the conviction that he would rather risk failure than die in quiet despair. And though he struggled, though he lost almost everything, he found something priceless, himself. And you? What excuses are you clinging to? What prison cell have you made comfortable? To the mirror, chaperont. You avoid. There's a reason you avoid mirrors. Not the physical kind, but the inner ones. To look deeply into yourself is to confront the stranger you've become. We all wear masks, the dutiful worker, the loyal friend, the funny one, the smart one. But masks are heavy, and eventually they crack. The moment you dare to take them off, you'll feel naked, exposed, and yet, beneath the fear, you'll find something you've been missing, the raw, unfiltered truth of who you are. But here's the catch. You may not like what you see, and that's okay, because only by seeing the ugliness can you begin to transform it. Plato said that philosophy begins in wonder, but true philosophy begins in horror. The horror of realizing how much of your life you've wasted. The cost of freedom. Freedom isn't free, not in the patriotic sense, but in the personal one. The cost of freedom is responsibility, to own your choices, to stop blaming society, your past, or fate, to say, this is my life and I will shape it. Most people are too afraid to pay that price. They would rather remain in the cave, staring at shadows, than face the blinding light of truth. But the few who do, the ones who embrace the discomfort, who accept the fear, those are the ones who truly live. Bonhoeffer wrote from prison that freedom is not something we have, but something we become. Each act of courage, each refusal to conform, each moment of truth-telling, these are the bricks with which freedom is built. The twist you didn't expect. And here's the uncomfortable truth. You don't want freedom. Not really. You want comfort disguised as freedom. You want the illusion of choice without the burden of consequence. You want to believe you're awake while still dreaming. But if you've made it this far, if you're still listening, then some part of you is different. Some part of you knows that the illusions can no longer satisfy you. That part of you is dangerous. Because once awakened, it cannot go back to sleep. The question is, will you nurture it, or will you bury it under another avalanche of distractions, hoping it dies quietly? The path forward. Here's where philosophy stops being abstract and becomes personal. You don't need to change the world. You don't need to overthrow systems or write manifestos. You only need to do one thing. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pretending you're satisfied when you're not. Stop pretending you don't know what you want. Stop pretending you have endless time. You don't. Every day you spend in denial is a day you'll never get back. The path forward is brutal but simple. Face the silence. Sit in it. Listen. Ask yourself the questions you've been avoiding. Who am I, really? What do I want? What am I afraid of? And then, this is the key, have the courage to act on the answers, no matter how terrifying they are. Conclusion, the last mirror. So let me leave you with this. Imagine yourself at the end of your life, looking back. Will you see a life lived authentically, courageously, with scars that prove you truly lived? Or will you see a life of safety, comfort, and quiet despair? The truth is brutal, but it is also beautiful, because the same fear that chains you is the key that sets you free. So tonight, when the lights go out and the silence returns, don't run from it. Stare into it. Listen to it. Let it break you open. Because only then will you discover the truth you've been running from all along, that the freedom you fear the most is the only thing that can save you.